Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. It is known, what the Gemara says in Chagiga, that Abelezer ben Azariah once darshaned on the pasuk, Hakel as ha'am ha'anashim v'ataf. Hashem says to Moshe, you should gather the men, the women, the children, and you should teach them the Torah, the mitzvah of Hakel. And actually it extends also to, in a minor way, also to many smaller hakels like on Shabbosim, etc. So the Gemara, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says, he darshaned, Anashim, the men, we know why they come, because they're coming lilmod, they have a chiyuv to learn Torah. Nashim, the women, even though they don't have the same level chiyuv as unlimited Torah, the way men have it, but still, they come lishmayat, they have some part of it, they're able to come to listen to the Torah. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was bothered, Taf lambaboim. But why are there little children coming? And Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says, Kedei litin schar lemiviehem, to give reward to those who brought them to shul. The sole purpose why kids go to shul, according to this, is so the parents get reward for choosing to do the right thing and bringing them to shul. And that's a little confusing. What exactly is the good part of them bringing them to shul? And the Mefarshim over there on the Gemara really have a difficult time explaining where the schar is. It's interesting to note that the Marsha says taf is tes pei, tes langafei. Says the Marsha, take the letter before and after tes, which is ches and yud, chai. Take the letter before and after pei, which is ayin and tzaddik. That is what a taf is, a eitz chai, a living tree, a living young tree. And we have to train them young. And the Marsha goes on to say there is something unique about, and something great by bringing young children. How young are these children? Obviously, we're not talking about kids who are older enough that they're higia lechinuch, where the chinuch kicks in. Because if there's a responsibility, a chiyuv of chinuch, they have to be there too. So we are actually talking about kids who are below lo higia lechinuch. They're younger than the age of chinuch, and even for them there's a schar. One of the Mefarshim and Ein Yaakov say a beautiful pshat. If you think about it, it doesn't really make sense. The mother goes to shul, the father goes to shul, the older children ha'igia lechinuch go to shul. What, you're going to leave your little kids home alone? No babysitter? Who's going to be babysitting the kids? It's going to go nuts at home. So it could be that the reason why the parents bring the little kids to shul is because of the lack of the babysitter. Says the Gemara, no. The pasuk says that bring the taf kedei litin schar lemiviehem. When a father or a mother bring the children to shul, not because of the lack of the babysitter, rather because they feel this is the right place they should be, they get special reward. Now Tosfos says over here something very relevant. Tosfos says on this Gemara, Al zeh samchu lahavi ktanim lebeis hakneses. This is how it became the custom that we bring little children to shul. Based on this hakel taf, that the pasuk also says taf, and the people who bring in shul get schar, that's how it became a custom that all young children come to shul. Now in Shulchan Aruch, it is actually elaborated that we have to make sure there's certain dinim that how you're supposed to deal with a child in the shul. You're not allowed to kiss them in the shul because it's Kedushas Basic Knesses. You only have to show love towards the Sefer Torah, towards the Eibishter. They obviously are not allowed to make noise. If they make noise, they disturb everybody from their kavanah and davening. But this is the source why there is b'chlal an inyan to bring young children to shul. In Derech Chaim, he actually takes this Tosfos and he says, obviously Tosfos is talking about in the better times, but if you look around today, you see little kids in the shul, and they're running around, throwing things and making noise. Not only it's not beneficial, if there's no schar for the parents that bring them to shul, chas v'sholom, there's actually a punishment because they're disturbing, they're making no kedushas beis haknesses, they're disturbing people from davening, etc., etc. So you have to have seichel to know if it's applicable or not. Now, I saw in one of the Shilas Teshuvas Svarim of today's times, a practical Shilah. So what happens, either you brought your child to shul, or you went to shul on time, and your child came later somehow, and now the child in shul is misbehaving, but you're in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei. What should you do? He's disturbing the davening, he's crying or whatever, and you can't daven, the people around you can't daven. What should you do if you're in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei? And they connect it actually to a possible shaila, which seems to be a little similar, and that is if you have a cell phone, which many people say you shouldn't even leave the cell phone on walking into shul, and the cell phone is ringing during Shemoneh Esrei. We know that how careful you have to be not to make a hefsek in Shemoneh Esrei. What could you do? What should you do to stop the noise? It's disturbing the davening. And obviously the hefsek there is much smaller than the hefsek to deal with your child in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei. And a lot of the poskim today say that to stop in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei and just turn off the cell phone, obviously it's not the prepared way. That's not the way you should have in advance thought about it. But to stop the ringing in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei is allowed. It's a hefsek, but it's a hefsek that's beneficial because the people are going to be able to daven better. How do we deal with a crying child when you're in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei? So some want to compare this to another halacha. The halacha said, the Mishnah Berurah, Siman Tzadik Vav Sifkat and Zayin writes that if somebody's davening Shemoneh Esrei and he sees a siddur or something fell on the floor, so the Shulchan Aruch says, so the Mishnah Berurah says that you're not allowed to stop davening to pick it up. Rak imze matrid oisay b'tfilasi, unless it doesn't allow him to daven properly. Mutar laharimai bein bracha lebracha. You're allowed to stop in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei, but as long as it's in between brachas, and pick up the Sefer Torah, kivan sha'oz tzarech hatfila, because then it's helping you daven better. It wouldn't be considered a very bad hefsek. So some poskim of today want to jump onto this halacha and say, if there's a child disturbing and you're not davening, nobody around you is able to daven because he's crying, possibly being bracha to bracha, you're allowed to stop and carrying him out to quiet the shul, that everybody should be able to continue davening.